What is up, YouTube? Welcome to the video. This is Outdoors Full Living. I'm currently pulling the dump trailer behind me right now. I'm going to drop it off for the night, and tomorrow my sportsman's club is having a cash bash. So this isn't a paid rental, I guess we'll call it. I'm going to treat this as more of a donation. It's a small cash bash. Normally we have a gun bash where we sell 1,000 tickets. This bash here, we only sold, there was only 500 tickets, so we're expecting maybe a couple hundred people. But I decided I would help out the club and donate this. Now, if I was a little bit smarter than I am, I would have had some more things together by now, and I would have advertising on the trailer. And that was my original plan, but life happens. So I do actually have some signage coming in that was sort of a last-ditch effort to hopefully get some on the trailer beforehand, but that hasn't come in yet. And realistically, I'm going to go to a local place and probably get something a lot bigger than that signage anyway for the long run. But if you've been following this channel, I've kind of hinted around at it a few times now. But this year, about a month ago, I started a LLC, which is right now involving the dump trailers behind me. And what I'll be doing is essentially renting the trailer out as a dumpster, and from time to time probably hauling mulch, gravel, and dirt. So I've been trying to starting to try to document the journey a little bit, depending on when I get this video out. I actually have one I made a couple weeks ago where I went into a good bit of detail and everything. Anyway, that's what we're doing. I feel like it's still some pretty decent exposure, and even just talking about it at the club meeting, I was able to tell some more people what I'm doing. So just getting the word out there. A little bit about the bash or the club. So I am one of the officers of the club. So on top of just dropping this off tonight, we've got to do setup, and then I will be at the bash tomorrow. I'll be one of the ones running that bash. There will be a small team of us there. And my plan is right now, I don't think we're gonna fill this thing up. I highly doubt we would, just with trash from the bash. But I'm gonna see if there's anything else we can purge from my house. And then tomorrow, or Sunday, I'm sorry, today's Friday. Sunday is Mother's Day, so I'll be going over to my mom's, and I did tell her if she wants to purge some stuff to let me know, and I'll bring it over, because I wouldn't mind kind of making it a full load before I go to the dump to get rid of the stuff. So we'll see what happens. But alright, well, I'm going to play this video. I'll probably put it on maybe some time-lapse mode or something. Just get some shots of the green trees. I think the last time I did a video like this, sorry, I'm losing my voice. The last time I did a video like this, spring had started, but the majority of the trees still didn't have leaves. So now we are almost completely leafed out, I guess, or whatever you're gonna call it. But yeah, enjoy some of the video. I'll be back to you when we get to the club. or the newest club, but I had been at some other clubs in the area, and I guess this is the one that I ended up sticking with. So this is the beginning of our property here. We have a few hundred acres. I'm actually not sure how many acres we have. I think it's over 300. So not bad. I know you can't see them on camera, but we got our pistol and archery ranges on the right. And this club used to be a Beagle club, so there's still buildings here from back in those days. Alright, I'm still not sure where we're putting this, so I'm gonna scoot it over here. I'll be back with you guys once I'm kind of settled in a little bit. And I'm back. It's a different day. It's Sunday, Mother's Day. We had the bash yesterday, which overall went pretty well. It was a small bash for us, but we had a decent turnout, and the turnout that we did have seemed to have a lot of fun and spent a good bit of money, which helps that club out. I didn't get too many shots. Once I had got there, there was a lot of people setting up, and we had a lot to set up, and I really didn't want to be there too long Friday night. So I'll show you a couple pictures of just the setup and a little bit of the bash maybe. That load's just mainly, like I figured, it wasn't a big load. Some trash bags, some cardboard. So I threw a few more things in it already at my house, and then later on today, when I go over to my mom's for Mother's Day, she's got some stuff that she's going to throw in it as well. Now, when I was at the bash, I did get a text from work. So currently I am in my work truck, and my plans basically got changed for the beginning of this week. So I'm running in right now, which does kind of suck. It's an hour-and-a-half drive one way, but I'm running in right now to drop something off that I was going to drop off Monday, because now I'm going to have to go to Lancaster, which is like 4 hours away, and I'll be there for 2 days, and then I'm going down to Virginia, which from here is 5.5, 6 hours. I guess from there maybe it's an hour closer. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna be gone pretty much from Monday until Friday this week. So I want to take that dump trailer first thing Monday morning and get that all dumped. That way it's empty, you know, for the weekend. And also, you know, there's a lot of food and different things in those garbage bags, so I don't want animals trying to get in there and screwing my tarp up and stuff. So today's gonna be, well, this video is gonna be pretty much like a day in the life kind of thing, except it's gonna be multiple days. Be a little different than a lot of my other videos. A lot of my other videos are just like how-to or reviews. But we got a good bit of stuff that I need to get done today. I need to probably clean this truck out, get the oil changed. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe Valvoline can figure out. I got 2 different sensor issues in this truck. This truck's only got 18,000 miles, but I have some kind of like fault traffic sensor server error, and I forget what the other one is, but I think they're both tied in together. It's been doing it for a while, but we'll see. It'll probably beep at me here in a second. But I need to get the oil change in this, get this thing cleaned up, get some stuff out of this one, And then I got a bunch of stuff that I gotta get out of my other truck. Also, while I'm at my mom's, I'm probably gonna cut up 2 trees that fell in the storm that we had a week or 2 ago. And if I have enough time, I'm gonna bring that wood back with me and split it. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to do all this, but I am trying to do as much as I can with that trailer in one trip. So that might be a little weird, depending on how big these trees are. I might be loading the rear end with firewood, essentially, which isn't a super great thing, when the front end's probably pretty light. So we'll see how that all goes. More than likely, though, next time you see me, I'll be in the black truck. If anyone watching this right now knows more about GoPros than I do, which is probably pretty easy to do because I don't seem to know too much about GoPros. Right now I'm using a GoPro 13 on this view, and I'm using a GoPro 9 on the view facing out. I'm trying to get good quality, video footage from these cameras, but I'm also just trying to start to use them more often. I've had the one GoPro for a while. Most of my YouTube videos are just shot on my phone, and they're also edited on my phone. The GoPros, to me, are a little bit frustrating to use. For one, the battery life seems to be horrible on them. I would say max battery life I'm seeming to get right now is maybe 30 minutes of video, and then the SD cards also seem to fill up pretty quick. So I'm sure it's the mode that I have it on, and what I might do right here is I'll post the settings that I have the camera set to. But yeah, I'm trying to get used to using these. It's just they're kind of frustrating to use, in my opinion, and I just probably haven't really looked into using them too much. I mean, I did change the settings from default to try to get better video, which I'm sure is affecting at least one of those 2 things that I just mentioned. But if anyone does know, just these are the kind of shots right here. Stuff. I bet these cameras will be primarily used very similar to this. I still think probably shots where I'm shooting on a tripod or something like that, I'll be using my phone. It's just easier, and honestly I think the video quality might look better. I'm not sure, but if anyone has any suggestions on that, I'm more than happy to take any feedback with the settings on these, because yeah, I know other YouTubers use GoPros a lot. I know you can do a lot with them. We use them at work to do inspections sometimes down in like manholes and stuff, but in that situation we don't really care about video quality that much. We're just trying to get shots where we're setting this down on a extension pole with a flashlight on there because they're dark down in there, but we're just looking for spare conduit and stuff like that. So I've never, seems like the batteries last and do good there. Again, the settings we have isn't too crazy, but I don't think we've ever really shot videos that were more than a few minute clips at a time, which I think is what you're supposed to really do with GoPros. But if I did that, I would end up with 30 clips right now of this. Alright, I'm probably going to cut this over to the next clip. Try to keep this video relatively short. Alright, this is like 2 hours later. Cut 2 trees up, and then there was 3 piles of trash that we added to the load. I didn't end up taking all the trees. Some of it had bad ant damage and was pretty well rotted, so wasn't really interested in that with firewood. But this is kind of what I ended up with. I thought it'd be kind of cool to take a video of the back hauling this. I wanted to see what the logs would do as far as shifting and stuff like that with the rest of the load. It's Monday morning, pulling into our local transfer station. See how busy it is. It just opened a few minutes ago. I'll put a link. I came to this transfer station one other time in a video with this dump trailer. That was a few weekends ago on Easter. Prior to that, I've been here a good bit of times without the dump trailer, just with either the pickup or an older utility trailer that I had. As I said in another video, this is, in my opinion, our nicest transfer station in the area. There is another one close by, and then there's 2 different landfills that I can go to, but typically I try not to go to the landfills. For the size of this transfer station, I would say it is relatively busy. And as far as pricing goes out here, I also think that it's pretty fair for our area. I'm sure there is areas in the country where it's cheaper than this, but watching some other videos of people doing this kind of stuff really shows me how fair these prices are compared to some areas. When you pull in, it's got a scale. This particular transfer station is nice. It upgraded a few years ago, so there's a machine on each side of the scale. So you pull up, pretty much enter your phone number once you're in their system. It asks for a few other prompts, and then it spits out a transaction number that you take with you as like an initial receipt. And then when you come back through, you type that number back in. The building right ahead of me is where the transfer station is. Everything else here is another part of their business, but it is a small transfer station. It's one bay that's big enough for basically 2 vehicles to be in there at one time dumping. Up here in a minute, I'm gonna have a audio issue with my one GoPro. What I was trying to do was use a GoPro on the back of the trailer as a bit of a backup camera, just still kind of experimenting with that for when I get into some tighter driveways and stuff. But apparently when I got back in the truck and I lost connection between the GoPro and the phone, the audio stopped, so that's why a good section of this won't have audio. I did also clip some bits and pieces of this out, as well as speed some things up. What I was trying to do was just avoid getting close shots of anyone else's face, and the guy that was working in this bay, came behind the trailer several times, and I got close shots of that, so I wanted to clip that out. Now, in a moment here, it is going to look like I'm about to hit this bay. That's just because of where I have that GoPro on the back. It's not centered on the back of the trailer. I have it actually on one of my hinges on my door to try to keep it in service with my phone. So that is why it looks like I'm so close to that door, because the GoPro has a wide angle shot. But this is the bay. So like I was saying, it's large enough for 2 trucks in here at one time with their equipment. And for those of you that don't know, so a transfer station is basically a building, and in the back of the bay is a hole where they have large dumpsters, and you'll come and you'll dump there, and then they'll use the machines to push everything into those large dumpsters, or they're probably not called dumpsters, but those large trailers, and then those are later taken to a landfill. So in general, transfer stations are a little bit nicer because you're on a concrete pad rather than in the mud and on the trash. You're still running a risk of picking up nails and stuff, but I don't think it's as bad. I think they do a good job of keeping these bays clean. But, when you are there, you will see nails and other debris. Now, as you can see, most of the load did come out. There was some moisture this morning with some of the cardboard, so there was a few things I had to scrape out. Alright, that felt like amateur hour for me. I did not understand what that guy was wanting me to do, so I had to pull up, pull back some more, pull forward, pull back some more. Looks like it's fairly busy for a Monday morning. Say that like I've been here before on a Monday morning. Alright, now we're empty. Hopping back on the scale. They give you a receipt or a inbound ticket on the way in, and then on the way back out you pull back to this side. Was 13,640 pounds. The tear was 13,020 pounds. The net was 620. Not a very heavy load. I think that's pretty close to what I had the last time I brought the trailer in here. Would have been nice to have planned better and just combined the two, because the first part of that one was for the Sportsman's Club. They just had some trash basically from the bash that we had Saturday, and then the second part of that was a little bit more of my stuff, and my mom and my stepdad had 3 pals from their house, so I figured it wasn't too heavy. That one filled up maybe, I'd say closer to half of a dump truck or a dump trailer load. Alright, well, on our way back home, and then I gotta get some stuff together and I gotta hit the road for my full-time job. Hopefully you like this content. I shot this over 4 days roughly. So some of the first shots were from Friday evening. I actually didn't get too much Saturday. I got a couple pictures in a short clip Saturday. And then we had some clips Sunday. Now it's Monday. So I probably made it pretty interesting on myself for editing because I used 4 different cameras. So 2 phones and 2 GoPros. We'll see how the GoPro footage all came out. I could be on time warp mode right now and not even realize it. Hopefully you like this content. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. I will be having more content like this in the future, and I'm working on improving my camera angles and my cameras. If you haven't checked out other videos on this channel, feel free to check them out. I have a lot of DIY review type videos. I've got yellow jacket removals from the late summer, and now I think you're going to be seeing more and more content about this. So with the new LLC, I plan on doing this a good bit, hopefully. I'm sure eventually I'll go to one of the other transfer stations or one of our landfills. This is kind of my preferred spot here, even though it is a smaller building to get into and everything. But thanks for stopping by, and I hope you come back again.